Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Michael Bounty Hunter. Michael, it's good to see you, good to speak to you. I saw that you were ringside for Martin Bakoli's victory over Jared Anderson, of course, as well. Terence Crawford doing the business versus Israel Madrimov, but there's only really one place to start off, and that is Martin Bakoli, your old friend, getting the victory over Anderson, and then the call out afterwards. First of all, tell me what you saw in the ring from Bakoli.
I thought he looked good. He's a big, strong boy. He was moving. He had some subtle movements in there, and just with his break at the waist, and a lot of people. He's not like got to be super slick because he's so big. He just has to move just a little bit, and he did that, and he put a lot of pressure on Anderson. I kind of knew when it was going to get tough and get in the middle rounds, it was going to be real tough to defend Martin Bakoli's onslaught, and kind of went the way I kind of expected it. I also think that not that Jared Anderson. I think he's capable. He's very athletic, but it just doesn't have the experience and. When I mean by experience, I guess it just comes with, just kind of like a humbling, kind of like a strategic, just knowing, I guess just his experience. Nothing I can really say about that, but just experience really.
How big of a threat will Martin be to the heavyweight division, considering you laid out the blueprint on how to beat him, but not many heavyweights can do what you did, and Anderson showed that he couldn't do that.
I think that he beats everybody other than Usyk and I. I think there's a lot of other people that can compete with him, and it'll be maybe a toss up. But I do think he's one of the top heavyweights out there. As you can see, displayed it last night with a beautiful performance. I think he had, I think that was the best fight of the night, best performance of the night, and really wasn't much I could say. I mean, he did American debut. Other than he should fight the number one American heavyweight instead of the number two. So
For your eye scouting him ringside, how different is he from when you fought him?
he's just heavier actually. He does the same. He's very similar, So I would just say he would probably be a little bit more less throw a lot less punches, a little bit less active, but a little bit more stronger. Because the way he throws his punches, he doesn't have to turn, his waist or hips. He has very fluid, you know, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So he's very smooth with his shoulders, and he has flexible shoulders and stuff like that to be able to have that shoulder pop. So he could throw a lot of punches without really having to turn and twist and break at the waist a lot. So I think that was another thing that kind of is surprising until you get in there. You don't really know.
Mine, of course, you got into the ring. He said he wanted the rematch with yourself. You said absolutely you'll take that. How likely do you think that rematch will be to happen next or in the very near future?
I think it would be likely. Maybe not next. I think we still both got a couple of more fights, or fight at least each of us have at least one more fight to probably get out the way before it gets really hot. But I think this was a definitely a good step towards the right direction. I think that eventually, you're gonna want to see the baddest man on the planet belt, and I think that that has to go between me and Martin Bakoli. So maybe we could talk Turkish Ali to make a BMF belt for the boxers.
Did you bump into Billy Nelson last night?
Yes, I did, man. They were very cool. Billy and Martin. They seen me on ringside. They pulled me up, and they were very inviting. And that's how that's a real dog because he didn't show any hate. He didn't. He wants it back. You know what I'm saying? He didn't shy from it, and I got nothing but respect for that. So I tip my hat off to him.
Just saying that I'm not trying to stir the pot at all, but I did listen to the IFL interview with Billy Nelson, and he said, "Look, not really interested in Michael Hunter right now." I don't know if you caught that as well too. So maybe it's the case that Bacoli wants it, but he might get guided somewhere else by Billy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that, as a fighter, that's why I said Bacoli's, he's a real one because as a fighter, you would want that back, but being your teammates, having your team and your team behind you, they got to make sure that you always make the right moves and the right choices. So I do agree that maybe not quite this second, but it's heating up. So it won't be long. You
If it's
know,
not Bacoli next, then for yourself, what can you say is next for you?
I fight September 14th
Hmm.
in Florida. Kind of going back and forth with the opponents right now. So we had a couple. I mean, one, and then we had to shuffle it. So not sure exactly who the opponent is quite yet, but I do have a date, and we'll be looking to stay busy.
Have you had any calls from any heavyweights for sparring at all? I wonder if maybe Fury's picked up the phone to you.
No, no, that would be good. Because I actually do fight. I can spar southpaw. But no, I haven't really got any calls.
Right, yeah, maybe the phone will answer soon. I just want to get your thoughts as well. You were ringside last night. What about Ruiz versus Miller? Was it a robbery, as a lot of people are saying?
I thought Big Baby Miller pulled it off. I thought he did enough. I thought he was biting down when it in the right times. He was fighting, trying to steal the rounds. They're both big, so he wasn't going to see a whole lot of punching in action. Um, no way. But I thought that one thing that I was very impressed with was his adjustment because prior to the fight, I talked to Big Baby, and he was saying that he was going to box him and stay on his feet, which I thought was a decent game plan because I know he keep him at distance, and I know he can. But it was even a better game plan after he was trying that a little bit, seeing that probably take too much energy from him. Is better to just come forward and push the big guy back. And Andy Ruiz never really goes backwards. Even if he fought Anthony Joshua, he didn't go backwards. Anthony Joshua was just as big, but it's the fluidity and the skill set that Andy Ruiz, possesses that usually pushes him, and his size that pushes the guys back. But Big Baby Miller was also able to match that. So he has just as much fluidity and just as nice as a big boy, and he's bigger. So I thought that was a good game plan and a great adjustment for Big Baby Miller. I thought he did enough to win that fight, but they didn't give it to him. But um, I still think his stock went up. It wasn't a bad look for him because everybody was agreed with it. They were kind of booing. It sucks because when you're Mexican and you come out here to California, um, you know, Mexicans are true. Where they're authentic and they're very loyal, but they will also want you to, they want to perform. They want to see you go to your best. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be the best, but they want to see effort. And I think that kind of tarnished Andy Ruiz's, you know, um, his persona and his status by not really pushing the issue, and going and being on his back the whole fight, which we know that that's not something he does. So I thought it was a good look for Miller and a bad look for Andy.
I did hear some of the boos as well in the Crawford versus Madrimov fight. I think the fans wanted to see a little bit more action. It did heat up a little bit more, but it was always a bit of a high IQ chess match type of fight, which kind of threatened to boil over into the later rounds where there's a bit more action. But Crawford got the victory. How did you see the fight? Was it a very close fight for your eyes as well, too?
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought thought Crawford won. I did think it was fairly close. But I thought the score was right. It should have been a unanimous decision, but by a couple rounds. I seen Crawford gave Crawford was had a hard time dealing with the size. He's coming up in weight. The guy wasn't much taller than him because he's kind of a tall person in his weight class, but just the size, you could tell a guy was big and had a lot of weight to him, was able to move forward on certain punches that usually he would catch somebody with and they would go down or be stunned or something. He was able to kind of push through those and it was just a different dynamic to it. So, but I definitely thought he did enough to win and had no problems getting the victory. But it's just one in the books.
Did Crawford's victory in the way he did it, does it fill you with confidence that he could get the victory over Canelo at super middle?
Man, I think that his skill set is he could fight big weight classes because of the way he's built as well. He has big long arms, big hands. He's very strong. When you have those type of attributes, you tend to be a little bit stronger, or you can handle bigger weight classes. He has a slim frame, but he can hold a lot of weight. So I think that he would do decent, but I don't know about actually beating Canelo. Canelo is very strong, a dude. He's very experienced, and yeah, I don't know. He's just he's a vet in there. I think that he could. I think Crawford could. I could see Crawford winning on points. But I think that would be an interesting fight. It would be kind of I think it would be close, but I don't know. That's a hard one to call.
Last quick thing for myself to get your take on AJ versus Dubois over here in the UK. Hotly anticipated fight. AJ now the challenger, but the veteran over Dubois, who's now the champion. How do you see that fight going?
I think AJ stops Dubois. I think Dubois is going to put up a great effort, but I think that the last couple of tactics of him, he was blocking with his head and kind of doing some funny stuff in his last fight, even though he pushed through it and he won. But I think he also was beating a not the greatest version of Hrgovic, but not trying to take anything from him. But I just think that Anthony Joshua is going to be much more ready. He's much more fine tuned. He has the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? He has much more a stake to lose and stuff like that. I just don't see it happening for Daniel Dubois. I think Daniel Dubois gets knocked out with a right hand.
I'll let you sign off. I imagine that not that motivation was ever a worry, but you getting in the ring with Bakole and seeing what you saw last night adds to that motivation of wanting to get in there in that mix of the heavyweight division. Have you got a message to the heavyweights to sign off with?
Yeah, I know you guys are running. I know you guys are scared. They always talk about Martin Bakole being the most feared, but that's behind me. And I know, it's going to be hard to call out somebody like myself, but if you guys are really up for a challenge and really want some real smoke, the bounty hunter will be on your head in no time.
Michael, pleasure. Thanks for being second out, sir. Hopefully seeing you in the ring very soon.